Hey folks, welcome. Here we discuss real stories by real people. In today's story, we have the story of a guy whose girlfriend goes backpacking across the globe with a girlfriend of hers, but he later finds out it wasn't the case. Let's see how it goes. Story 1. I'm a male, 19, and she's female, 20. We've been together 3.5 years, and when she left, we were both very much in love. I was actually in the process of moving into her apartment while she was gone, as we had agreed. She's been gone for 6 weeks now and doesn't get back until next week. Her plan was to backpack through Central America with her friend, also female. About 10 days ago, she said she was no longer traveling with her friend and was instead traveling with some people she had met on her journey. Around this time, she started to send emails about how she was growing and changing and becoming happy within herself, and no longer relying on me for that happiness. About a week ago, she tells me her plans have changed, and she's going to leave Central America and get a plane ticket to Kentucky to be with one of the guys she decided to travel with. After a week of trying to express my insecurities without appearing mistrustful and being placated with I love yous and so on, I asked her directly on Skype. She told me she's been screwing the dude she's staying with. She's staying with him for the next week until she leaves. She didn't apologize. She said she would not apologize for something which she did not regret. She said she plans to move out of the apartment I've just been moving into. She says she loves me, but she also doesn't know how she's going to feel in the next few weeks. I feel absolutely shattered. There's a lot I want to discuss with her when she gets back, but that's still 1 week, minus about 6 hours. So here's my question. How on earth am I supposed to deal with the next week? I feel absolutely shattered and have no idea how to go on. And secondly, can this relationship be mended? I honestly hope very deeply that it can. Update. Okay, so I've been reading this thread, and you've all been extremely helpful, and I've carefully considered everything. I drove to her parents' house and handed her mother the key to her apartment, and explained that I wouldn't be meeting her at the airport with them. She immediately knew what was up and started crying and hugging me. Her father looked disappointed to know that his baby daughter is a heartless bitch without a conscience. Her mother tried to tell me that she was sure it would be fine and that my partner loves me and whatnot. I sort of avoided the questions and then said goodbye to them and thanked them for their kindness over the past few years. I shook her father's hand and gave her mother a hug, at which point she once again burst out in tears. She is surely going to be pissed off that I let her parents find out that she's an inconsiderate bitch. But hey, if she has no remorse for the act, then she can deal with the consequences of it. I sent her an email saying this: if you can't even apologize for betraying and deeply hurting your closest friend and your partner, and you don't even feel remorse for doing this, then I will not be here when you get back. So I've not quite totally severed it, but I think I'm going in the right direction, right? I think I'm beginning to come to terms with the fact that this is probably over, and now I feel awful. Like I've lost my partner and best friend in one huge act of betrayal. What do I do with this terrible, terrible feeling? I will add though that I don't think I've quite come to terms with losing my best and closest friend yet. I think that is even harder. Wow, she's terrible. I'm glad OP realized that this wasn't salvageable. Watch her crawl back once the fog lifts and she realizes she just threw a serious relationship for a week of fun. If OP forgave her this once, she knows he's a doormat and will do it over and over again. So yeah, good on him for dumping her. Now for some comments. Dude, you did well. Your ex's parents seem like good people who are probably as disappointed and sad over this outcome. You are in the clear and handled the situation with great maturity and sensibility. If I were you, I would permanently close the doors on the relationship after such a breach of trust for your own sake. The moment she tries to contact you and you reciprocate, the levees are going to break and you're back to square one. Your bidding farewell to her parents is probably the best external closure that you can possibly get. All the rest of it is up for you to work out internally. Once you realize that your best and closest friend would never do this to you, then this transition will begin to become much easier. I had something kind of similar happen in my situation, and the moment it clicked for me that my best friend would never do something like this is when my feelings began to align with reality. Story 2, Part 1. I'm in the position right now of having to decide whether to go forward with a relationship and impending marriage of a bit over 4 years. I'm 28 male, she's 26, living together for about 6 months. She cheated on me, and now we're in a position of trying to work past it. More specifically, she's trying to work past it, and I'm trying to decide if I want to work past it. The problem is that I haven't been emotionally consistent since I found out a week ago. I've just had wild mood swings, and I don't trust myself to make good decisions right now. What criteria should I use to decide whether I want to move forward? I love her, but I'm not naive enough to believe that's enough. Obviously, we've both changed a lot over the years we've been together, and some things have changed that would be glaring red flags or even complete non-starters if I were to meet her today. Despite being sort of a jerk sometimes, I have lots of friends. She has very few and has withdrawn from them quite a bit. We used to go out just about every night, but she almost never wants to these days, and she guilt trips me if I don't spend a couple nights at home every week. She's become less active and spends almost no time outdoors. I've become more active and athletic, and I exercise or play outside pretty much every day. We have different standards of personal hygiene. This was not obvious until we moved in together, because she always showered and put her best foot forward before coming to see me in the past. Our diets are no longer compatible, but I do most of the cooking, so it's sort of okay. These are all things that I was willing to work through until I found out about the cheating. Now though, I'm vacillating between breaking it off, giving her an ultimatum, or just telling her and hoping we can work through it. Obviously, the latter is the most adult response, but I honestly feel like trying to be the adult is how I got myself in this mess in the first place. I don't trust my emotions right now, and my buddies, while supportive, are all giving me conflicting advice. Edit. I asked her to spend tonight elsewhere. She left with a friend, and I don't think a clear idea of where she's staying tonight. We've avoided involving parents yet. Both sets live in town. She didn't take it well. She just kind of shut down. Left her dog here, though. I don't know whether that's good or bad. Part 2. My ex-fiancée, current girlfriend, is trying hard to reconcile things after she confessed to a 3-month affair. She's 26, I'm 28. We've been together 4.5 years, living together 6 months. The problem right now, as I try to decide where to go from here, is that little things keep triggering big mood swings for me. I've been on an emotional roller coaster for the last couple of weeks, and there doesn't seem to be an end in sight. One minute I love her and want to make everything work. The next minute I'm ready to kick her out on the street. It's little things that set it off, too. Yesterday she asked me for a small amount of money, and all I could think about was how I've been paying for her to cheat on me for months. She's a student, so I pay the bulk of the rent and household expenses. My first impulse was to get really immature and break things and yell, but I went for a run instead. Honestly, I know these mood swings are a part of the process, but they make me feel like some kind of drama queen. That's not who I am, nor who I want to be. I feel like even if we weren't trying to work things out, even if I kicked her out today, I'd still have to deal with this. What can I do to stay stable and sane? Final part. A bit more than a month ago, my then fiancée confessed to me that she'd been having a 3-month affair. We were going to be married in May. We're in our late 20s. We'd been together 4.5 years. No trouble until we moved in together 6 months ago. She made a sincere effort to fix everything that was wrong with our relationship, the distance that had grown between us. We both worked hard and we brought it back to where it was before things went bad. The nights of laughing, drinking, and watching cartoons. The mutual support. I realized today that no matter how hard we worked, it would never be the way it was. I would never be able to trust her completely like before. The doubt would always be there. I could never have children with her. They'd be nothing but a license to ruin my life. I found a box of condoms in the bathroom. We haven't used condoms since she got her IUD put in 2 years ago. I don't know if they were new or old, so I slashed them all up, then threw them away. I feel silly now since they were most likely old, but they triggered an inordinate feeling of resentment. Too many things have. It was the tipping point. The breakup wasn't poetic. It wasn't a scene from a movie. It wasn't closure. I stood in the living room almost unable to talk, and I mumbled that I wanted to break up. Then I turned around and left. I feel so broken and empty, but I know I did the right thing. I haven't stopped loving her yet, though. I know I will. I don't believe in remaining friends with exes, and I wouldn't want to put her through that emotional hell anyway. I finally stopped crying. She was just a financial burden. Now that OP has lost the dead weight, he can focus on his future and find someone who truly would stay faithful to him. The pain is temporary. I'm glad he recognized that this relationship could not be fixed sooner than later.